Very much welcome back into the studio, and that was a beautiful new song by Aquaba titled Mama. It's all to wish mothers out there a happy Mother's Day in advance. What about now? We have an interesting conversation we're going to get into, and James and I are seated here with a man who has been here before, so it's not a new face, but he is an international icon. And then we are so much humbled at the studio that he has taken time off his busy schedule to pass by and have a conversation with us on career and religion and help us to find where the balance is. I'm talking about the founder of Life Ahead Vision Ministries, Reverend David Kofi Wuaku. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're well.
Yes,
you're looking good as well.
Thank you very much.
Really humbled having you on in the studios today.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, viewers, you're not left out. You can join in the conversation. We have our phone lines active, our WhatsApp numbers are active, our social media platforms are active. If you have any suggestion, any contribution with regards to the topic we're discussing today, career and religion, you can just call in. Let's make it happen right here in the studios.
Okay, so right about now, we'll start off with something that we are all quite confused about. What are the characteristics would you say a believer should portray?
Okay, so I think as a topic, good morning and happy Mother's Day in advance for all mothers. Maybe I may not meet all mothers before Sunday. So happy Mother's Day. We cherish our mothers so much. We appreciate their contribution to our lives. Without mothers, we have no life. We have no generations. We have no reproduction. So mothers, thank you so much for the care and love you show to us all the time. Okay, coming back to your question, I think it is important to understand what we mean by religion, what we mean by career, before even getting into the details. Because even the first question you asked point out the fact that it's a very limited aspect of thinking about what a religion is. So I want us to look at these two things in the real perspective that give us a better and a clearer understanding. So maybe if I would throw back the question to you, what do you mean by religion and career? I want to fix the conversation in the context of your understanding or what you want to really explain to the people. So when you say career, what are you thinking? What is the thought pattern?
No, now you're throwing the question back at
so
us.
that is a conversation we all understand and anybody.
James and I here now, we wake up every morning and then we go to work. It looks like that is our career path. That is what we do all the time. So clearly it's, the layman's understanding will be what really puts food on your table, your life that you have set aside to give you ends meet, basically.
Okay.
I think to add up, maybe it's an occupation, it's in one's life, for a period, when you take one side. So it's something you're doing within a period or a phase of your life.
Okay.
Oh, we are wrong.
Not necessarily wrong. Yes, but that is an understanding for many people. But in the real professional technical definition of a career, if you're talking about career is clearly from maybe HR point of view or technical point. I have the definition, some definition, but the understanding is like you rightly said, it is your work pattern. It is the progression of what you have done throughout your work pattern. It includes the type of work, it includes your promotions, it includes your training, your upgrading up to the highest level of whatever you do. That for want of word, to borrow your word, that put food on your table or that give you financial independence. So when you are talking about career, it is very open and it is related to occupation, as you said, or work as you do that progressively promotes you or take you to the highest point in your ladder. So many times I realize people use the word for I don't know, for their own understanding. Sometimes you hear things like a career woman. So I don't know what they mean by a career woman. It is somebody who is in a secular job or doing business. But you take a woman that is home as a housewife or somebody taking care for the family as if she is not a career woman. But it is not correct. If that is the profession, if that is what she does, if that is what understanding the family has, that she should take care of the family and the man maybe goes out for a different work and bring food, or the woman is paid to do that, it's a career. Because that is what she's doing progressively in order to establish a life or a financial balance. So I want us to think in that concept so that we all understand. And so the other word or topic we mentioned is religion, which is also another big thing. Generally, when especially in part of the world like this, when we talk about religion, largely people's focus is on church or Christians going to pray and work. How do you get it? But religion is more broader or more detailed than just going to church. When you talk about religion, you are talking about efforts, a belief system, or efforts that individuals are making to get closer to a deity or divine power, a power that is spiritual, that is more higher than human or natural human being, as we may say. And it's important to know that life as we live is really more than what you see. Every life is controlled spiritually. We may not be going detail into that, but I want everybody to know that life is spiritual, and largely everything you do here or you do in life is controlled by a being somewhere. So when we're talking about religion, we are not only limiting it to Christian religion or Islamic religion. There are more to it, even beyond traditional religion and many other forms of belief systems that people build in order to be closer to a divine power or a divine source or a deity that is higher than flesh and blood. So now we want to try and find a balance in your work, your occupation, progressively in giving you a financial independence and your spirituality or your belief system that you build. How do you get a balance between that, what we are discussing?
Definitely, that's what we are discussing.
So now we can go into details and maybe you can bring your consent, so we try to address
Right, so then we want to find out from you. You mentioned efforts early on, that as a Christian or whichever space you find yourself, the religion you find yourself, you're supposed to make some efforts, but if you really state down the efforts, then we can look at how we can balance those kind of efforts in your line of work as an individual.
Good. So as you're rightly asking, spirituality or religion is developed as any other discipline with the dedication and time spent. In other words, your commitment, the degree of your commitment determines how high or how spiritual or how powerful you can be. The same applies to work, secular work. I will now call it secular work, because if somebody is a full-time pastor, it is a career path.
Okay.
He's in career. You understand?
Okay.
Somebody's life, you decide to be a pastor, you decide to work for a church. Or even somebody is a spiritualist, and this is what he wants to do.
Okay.
He started from somewhere, trained under somebody. After that, he went to open his shrine or her shrine, and that is what he's doing. It's a career.
Okay,
That is his career.
it doesn't mean that it's okay for you to have just that part of your life, saying that that is your career as a pastor.
Yes.
Okay.
It is good. Don't we have pastors that makes life, I mean, millions of wealth out of
The pastoral.
pastoral. That is their work.
Okay.
And that is their career. They are not going to other secular works and coming back. So when we say career, it is not just limited to one thing. I think I mentioned the various things you do and the progressions. You see, some of us are pastors. We still go to secular work.
Okay.
We still do other private businesses. It is our career path. The path can be many.
So it means that is also allowed, that you're a pastor and you're solely into your pastoral ministry.
Yes.
And then you can also be a pastor, but you have other
You can do
businesses that
other
you're
things
involved
as well,
in.
sure.
Is there nothing like conflict of interest here? Is it a good way to
Depending
go?
on what you are doing, it is what you are doing that determines where the conflicts are.
Well, I just want to find out from you. So I'm very particular about the spirituality of it. You made mention of the secular work. You move away from pastoral and all that. Is it necessary to, fusing that spirituality within that secular space?
It depends on the degree. I'm not of a school of thought that believes that even if you are a pastor, or I see many people who goes to church, no, who goes to work. Let's say you work in an office, and about hours of your work or your place in the office, you open your Bible, you are praying because you are fasting in your church. You cannot work or you cannot deliver as expected of you in the office or wherever you are doing. That balance is not correct.
So what are you supposed to do if you find yourself in that space?
So if you find yourself in that space, where you are, you function as the demand
Of your workspace.
If you are a banker, Monday to Friday, you are supposed to be in the office from 8 to 5.
Okay.
You can't say that because of your church program, from 8 to 10 or 8 to 12, you can't come to work for the whole week.
That's wrong.
It's very wrong.
Okay.
Without any permission or taking your annual leave or part of your off days, it is wrong to do that.
So are you
Because if I were your boss, I'll fire you.
Wow. So you're establishing the point that then, in as much as you are, let's limit it down to the Christian religion, in as much as we're talking about religion.
Fine.
So in as much as you're a Christian, you're a believer, and then you find yourself in a particular workspace, you're supposed to let go of that part and follow the guidelines of your workspace. Is that what you were saying?
Put the question well, let me get it.
The fact that you're a believer, and then you also have a job, like you mentioned, you're a banker.
Yes.
You have to succumb to the guidelines of your workspace.
Exactly.
So your work is demanding a 9 to 5 p.m. And then you also have maybe church. You have to let go of the church and do the work.
And concentrate on the work for the working hours.
Okay.
For the working hours. And when it's church service, let's say you close, you have evening service, fine, you can go.
Okay.
You can go to your evening services, but you also must make sure that your quest for spirituality does not conflict with what gives you financial balance. You see, the problem we have is the misconception of you are trying to push it to Christianity or to church issues. Yes, I think I'm in the right position to establish that.
Okay.
I believe that misconception about people about church sometimes is not correct. We know God is God.
Yeah.
Bible was presented to us, some people would think it's an alien religion.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm of a school of thought that Christianity is not an alien religion to Africa or to a black man. Yes, it is not. God, I mean, we are created by God, and everything you read, it doesn't relate to any tribe or race or whatever. It is a relationship between God and man.
Okay.
You understand? So if at anywhere you have opportunity to get closer to God, it is the best you can do.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
It is the best you can do. I know many black people who presented the gospel to a white man in many ways, but it is the presentation and the understanding of what you are doing that is what matters most to get you closer to God. It does not mean that if can you imagine if I am a doctor, a medical doctor, and somebody has to go through a surgery, and at the same time I'm a pastor, and I left that patient to go and preach at the same time in the course of doing the work of God. What am I doing? Am I really progressing on my career? I define career progression or career in total as a progression, development of your work. One, to really satisfy or to create, to fulfill the tenant of contract, for want of definition, and to really execute what you are employed to do, and you leave that doing another thing. It's not correct.
So do you think if you try to go on that path, there is no sense of guilt that is really going to hit you or something?
Maybe guilt for you as a person,
for you as a person, because you feel like you really have to go to church, you really have to do this and that.
Really, which one are you talking about? The work or the church? Which side?
The fact that you think that there's church activity that I have to go. Maybe I'm an usher, maybe I'm a secretary, I have to be in church, and then my boss says, okay, please do extra hours for me. Don't you think that there's this
extra hours
at
or
work?
your normal working hours?
Even if it's your normal working, even if it's your normal working,
find it into the normal working hours.
even if it's your normal working hours, maybe because sometimes we know church activities is maybe Sundays you go to church, but then when there are occasions that come in like Easter, then we have evening services, so it eats into your church normal work, your career work time, your normal work time. So where you think that you've been, because James and I were talking about it earlier, that sometimes he has to perform in church, so where you're the Wuaku program, so but meanwhile you have to be at work. Don't you think there's this sense of guilt?
It doesn't matter. Your sense of guilt is your feeling, and feeling doesn't mean anything to your responsibility. Do you understand? You have every right to ask permission. You have every right to plan your leave. You have every right to plan your timing. It is the fact that we are not doing it well. So if you do it well, you'll be satisfied. You'll be content with what you are doing, and God will be pleased with what you are doing. You don't go sign contract with somebody to do something for you, and you leave the thing going to church. God even will not like that.
So a point where you are in a dilemma, you are confused, and then you decide to let go of your work and stick to the church. Do you think then that person has made a big mistake?
I would not, depending on the person's level of faith. I have left works and to concentrate on ministry or do other things, and my faith, I've never gone hungry, and God has supplied all my needs at any time I need. So depending on your faith, if that is what you think, the level of your spirituality, you see, I was telling you that everything or almost everything is controlled spiritually. There's nobody in this world. Either you get connected or somebody control, or some other spirit control you. So you don't live your life just in a vacuum or thinking you can do anything or you do anything anyhow. No. Everybody is controlled one way or the other. You may believe or you may not believe.
Okay.
It's up to you. But I believe there are supernaturals that control everybody, whether you like it or not, and it can lead you successfully or it can destroy your life, because we have all kind of spirit in this world. But the good news is we are talking about God's spirit, or we are confining this conversation in Christian or beliefs or systems. So I believe that if your faith level is such that you think the work I am doing is conflicting with my development of my spirituality, so let me spend more time to develop my spirituality, and I will do it in such a way that I'll have bread on my table, I'll be able to take care of my children, I'll be able to put to provide shelter and all responsibility that is demanded from me. Why not go ahead?
Okay. So it means that that's a decision to make as an individual, and not maybe even a man of God trying to impose, certain things on you that you have to let go of your job and come worship God or something.
That is a very critical arena you are entering to, because things of spirituality, it is not just yes or no, or somebody say this or that. It depends. It needs to be put into the right context. You see, you just use the word man of God. It is not everybody who carries Bible that is a man of God, and it is not at every time that the so-called man of God is on a platform means God is speaking through him. You said man of God. There is man element. You can speak as a human being. You understand? So you need to decipher and make sure the communication that you are having is the right message from God. If you are not convinced and you make the move, you destroy your life.
All right, so Reverend, I want to find out, let's move into the church, talk about the church workers and ministry as well, because we have people who are doing, they are working for the church. We go to the administrative side, go to the singing side and all that. At that point, how do you classify these people? Is it a ministry or is it a career?
Yeah, because they're being paid for it.
They're being paid for. I know some church singers who are being paid for and all that. So how do we classify these people?
So, like I told you, when you're talking about career, your career, a very good career, must lead you to give you a financial independence. You see, and I also tell you that career is not just limited to one work. It's diverse and it's progression. So somebody can sing in church and make some money. At the same time, that person can work in other institutions, because you are not singing 24 hours. It is only in this part of the world that we have so much time that we don't even know what to do with our time. So we think we have more time than necessary. And like I said, sometimes the way the gospel or the message is presented to us about church, I have not running away from your question. I'll come to that. So people just think that when I go and sing in church, God will bless me. Because that is what you were told sometimes. So you can leave your work, go and sing the whole day. When you finish, you are given an honorarium of 200 Ghana. Then you get home, you are frustrated. And you are totally confused. If you are not careful, even the comments will will destroy all the good things you think you are doing in church. Now, taking a church administrator, I know friends who are chartered accountants who leave their secular work and are working for churches as a church accountant. And they are being paid very well, and they are taking care of their families. Some of them are doing that as church accountant and at the same time doing other works. You get it? Some are church administrators. They get something reasonable from there, and at the same time do other works. So your career should not just be limited. The balance we are talking about, it is not like a accounting balance. No, that debit, credit, and there must always be an equal whatever.
Okay. So Rev, I want to find out, when do ministry come in?
Come to where?
When we're talking about these church thinkers, I know some of them, they say, this is my ministry, this is what I'm doing. And even with the administrator in church as well, sometimes they have it at the back of their head, this is what I'm doing in honor of God, to say thank you. So it's a ministry. So at what point would you classify that as a ministry?
At any time you are performing, it is a ministry.
Okay.
At any time. Ministry don't come when you are in church, and when you close, ministry close. Your ministry is your ministry. If you are prayer warriors, you are in the ministry of prayer. Ministry is service. So that service can be done anywhere. You understand? That service can be done anywhere, but you must be seen doing that as well.
Okay.
Like I told you, it is good. Spirituality is very, very important. You choose your connection with the deity. It is a must for our advice everybody, but as a Christian, I will recommend Christianity for you. Yes, because that is what I practice, and it worked for me all my life. It gives me health, it gives me wealth, it gives me everything, network, opportunity, favors at every level of my life. So if I'm recommending it, I'm recommending it because I have experienced it and I have seen the greatness and the goodness of God over my life. I have been in secular work over 20 years working in the central bank. At the point I decided to leave voluntarily. And I don't use even my work timing to conflict with my church then. You see, or even personal development. In the career path development, your education, your trainings and all that, they contribute to you getting promotions or changing jobs or doing other things. You see, so you see somebody who is an accountant in let's say bank A or B, and this accountant is also a musician playing organ, and he can even set up a music school, teaching people, training them. It's a career. You mentioned earlier that you were in the secular space talking about career, and then you had to let go, and it was a personal decision you made, and it worked for you because you had faith, and then you're perfectly fine. But I believe there are other people out there who have also taken that same path, and then they are still battling it, talking about families, wife and kids and all of that. How do you make that decision? Because then again, I believe that it would then not be a personal decision to be, because if you have wife and kids, and then sometimes you hear from pastors' children and all of that, as in how much they have to struggle because their fathers are saying that and I need to, you know, tread this kind of path, and then financially you're not stable. So the kind of job you were doing that was putting food on the table, now you say it's a or you are now a pastor, and it's really not, you know, that independent for you. So you are not financially dependent for yourself, for your wife, and for your children as well. At what point do you make that decision in your life? Do you really have to go all out, quitting your secular business? And don't you think that is not then a personal decision to make, but you have to involve your family as well, because it's really going to affect them? A lot of children are that young and they really don't know what, you know, decision to make, but they end up being victims. What would you say to that? That's a very, very good question, and a very, very good concern, even to me. I personally even think it is the question you ask is just in line with the ministry I think God has given me, and I've been trying very hard to hit it to church and church members very, very well, and church workers. If you ask my church members, I always hit them very hard in life. It is not your coming to church per se that makes you successful. Christianity has been presented to us, whether it is the presentation or our culture or our system of understanding that makes people to think that once I go to church and pray throughout the day, pray throughout the month, then I'll be successful. That is a misconception.
Okay.
Yeah. Even Abraham, that God called personally and say, I'll bless you or I have blessed you, works. Abraham is a farmer.
Yeah.
He have all kind of things. He tills the land. He does a lot of work.
Yeah.
God said, I'll bless you, Solomon, because you asked for wisdom. The wisdom God gave to Solomon. Did Solomon sat down to become the wealthiest person in the world or to take care of his family? No. Solomon is the greatest businessman I have ever seen. Very strategic and a businessman. Everything, every step of his life is about business. It's about work.
Okay.
So church does not mean don't work. Church does not mean your spiritual. Your spirituality should guide and help you to come out. You see, I believe that every human being on earth, you are here for a reason. You are here for a purpose. All of us, we have very different purposes. Everybody, especially in Africa here. The problem we have that we all complain about today is not because God will not bless us. It's because we are not fulfilling our purposes. We are not developing what somebody will call talent. Your talent is your God-given ability to influence, to use to influence or change the world around you. If you don't do it, no matter whatever you do, you will never ever get the blessings God give to you. Because the first time God released blessing on man is in Genesis 1:28. That is my greatest Bible verse. God is there. Can you remember? The Bible says, and God blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. And it didn't end there. It continued that when you multiply, you will subdue. When you subdue, you have dominion. You have control over everything that's around you. So if you are not fruitful, what is fruitfulness there? This is what people don't understand. Fruitfulness does not mean you take microphone and sing in church. It doesn't end there. That singing is a fruit. How do you multiply that? How do you change that to now begin to put food on your table? So people who says God calls me, so I will not work, needs to be questioned a bit. Do you understand? Because the work of God, fine, is also a work. Like I said, if you do it well, you'll be rewarded either by men or by the same God who called you. It is not you being a pastor that make God convince and just lavish wealth on you or just come and pay your school fees and whatever. No. As a pastor, I am a pastor. I'm still working. As I speak to you, I still work every day. From here, I'll go to work.
That's amazing.
So people should not just hide behind spirituality and refuse to work. No, you must work.
All right, so viewers, we're having a conversation with Reverend David Kofi Wuaku. He is the founder of Life Ahead Vision Ministries. We're talking about career and religion. Where do we find the balance? So right about now, we're activating the phone lines. If you have any question with regards to the topic we are discussing today, we have the phone lines on our screen: 030-277-6379, 030-277-6379. Our WhatsApp numbers are also active. Just send in your questions and Reverend David is right here to answer them. Rev, I want to come out, let's talk about the criticisms we've been facing in church. I find myself to be a lead vocal in church. I sing in church.
You have to come and sing for
very soon. So most time when you don't go to church on Sunday, probably I have a production to do on Sunday and I don't turn up. And I have people texting me, James, why are you not here? It looks like they've still not understood what I'm doing as an individual. What would be your advice to people who find themselves in this situation?
My advice is that you manage that process very well. You are a lead singer and you know you can't go to church. You have to plan that program that let somebody stand in for you. You don't just go to work and they go to church, they don't see you. Everybody is depending on you to come and lead, and you don't go, it's not correct. So before you know that this Sunday, because of work schedule, I cannot go to church, plan it with the leadership, plan it with your colleagues, singers. I can't come. So whilst you are planning, don't make me the leader, or somebody should stand in.
I think I'll add on to James's question, because it's also a concern for me, because James, then sometimes the feeling is like you're going to church because you're going to sing. I equally play the keyboard, and the feeling is like you're going to church because you're going to play the keyboard. So sometimes even when you want to pray, you can't, because you're singing for people to pray. I'm also playing the keyboard for people to pray. So the feeling is you're going to church because of this and this, and not really for yourself. How do you handle a situation like that? But before that, I think we have a very
we have Martin on the line. Hello, good morning, Martin.
Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me? Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Martin.
Good morning. How are you, my brother?
Hello, Martin.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. So with regards to the topic we're treating, what do you have to say?
Right. So with regards to the subject matter, okay. Let me say good morning to your viewers, and let me say I appreciate your guest so much. This is a very sensitive topic you are handling, and I love the way he is going about it. First of all, the Bible has a qualification that the house that is not white. But you see, the confusion here is coming from our men of God who has chosen ministry as their work. See, this is the difference. Your pastor, that is his career. That's what he's chosen. Whether it's the calling or is the whistle blowing or is the an inheritance or whatever it is. Once he's doing the thing full time, that is his means of putting food on his table. That's why the Bible asks you to go and then give your tithe to the pastor. God is not a fool. Say, whenever you create an initiative or an instance, he makes you to it. And so every pastor who has people he's pastoring would have to find a way to teach. So God deliberately created the system in that manner. So if your pastor is not getting to be fair or be as practical as possible to respect or be honest to tell you that my son, you can come and support the church, or you have to come and pray to God, because obviously we all know that the world was created by someone, and so power controls the world, and so you have to commit to your belief, like Reverend said. The pastor not telling you to focus on how to build your career is the source of confusion. That is where a lot of young people now think people sit in the church and you pray, you're going to be successful. Because that is the perception that the church, that the leaders are creating. So on your 24/7, and they influence you, brainwash you, get you to do his bidding to get what you want. So they create the impression as though when you come to church 24/7 and you come to pray, you're going to be blessed. You get people coming to church and say that, and the pastor prayed for me, and this breakthrough after still in place before the breakthrough came.
All right. So that was Martin on the line. Reverend, I want to find out, following up to what Martin was saying, you know, we have some churches who organize service during working hours, working days, and it's happening.
Yeah.
We go to a lot of communities, we see them right there. Is it the right thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it is wrong. The pastor is also working, like I told you. That is his career path. Whatever he must do to make his work successful, he's doing that. He has all the time, 24 hours to him, or 52 weeks in a year. He has to build a ministry. When he has a program, full day, 24 hours program, it's left with you. If you are not doing anything and you want to attend, there's nothing wrong with that. But you don't leave your work and go to that program without permission. That is not correct.
Yes. I want to look at another aspect of this conversation we are having, career and religion, and it has to do with we as individuals. Do we have to be picky with our career choices? What happens if you try to get a job where your owner or your boss or your manager shares a different faith as you do? But I'll come to that again. We have another call on the line, a female. Hello, good morning. From where are you calling us, please? Hello?
She's married.
Hello.
From where are you calling us, please?
I'm calling from the road. I think I have to speak to you.
No problem. You can go ahead, Mary.
Hello. Hello.
Me pa choko si yeti o.
The pastor entered the business. Some of the pastors, they hide behind spirituality. Hello.
Me pa choko yeti o ma.
I'm praying. So I have to take care of the children. In fact, I'm suffering. So let the pastor hammer that area. That area, they hide behind the spirituality. I will have to wake up and go to a car and tell them, I'll take care of the children. In fact, the police hammer that area. They hide behind spirituality. So please, let me hammer that area home.
Thank you very much, Mary, for calling us. That was a very deep concern.
Very deep
concern. Clearly the man has not sought consent from the wife to help him, you know, in the ministry. That's what it looks like, because she's really a little bit bitter, you know. Doc, Rev, sorry. What do you say? Quite a tough one.
Quite a tough one, and it's a bit personal, but I want to speak generally. Like I kept saying, for me, where I came from, my father was a pastor. That is what he was doing. But at least I see my father goes to farm. He has farm that takes care of us. He pays our school fees, even in the village and all those things. And so somebody like me should be coming from that background to say that I should just be in ministry and do this. Fine, but by the grace of God, knowing my talent and what I can do, I have studied and have opportunity to work and building a career that does effective secular work, do all kind of things I can do in the financial space and consulting space and many other spaces. My wife works very hard in business as anything, and we do effectively church business because we want a standard of life for our family, for our children. So for me, if anybody in quote, spirituality is largely things you cannot see physically. So it is a very difficult debate. I don't want to enter into that to say the man is not spiritual or whatever. But if you are praying the whole day and you don't have food for your family, I don't think God wants that.
Okay, so we have Frank on the line. Quickly, let's go pick a call from Frank. Hello, Frank. Hello, good morning, Frank. Can you hear me? Come again, please. All right. Okay. Please kindly speak up. What do you have to say in line with the topic of discussion today? Okay.
The rest of that, then they require I think that present is grateful and Maui. It can say and a brain and the chance of penny with you for Chaboson, being Ghana president of Ghana Union Movement. Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, that's with your submission. Remember, he's talking about where he said we should have rules and regulations, governing all these things, and where we establish the churches.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll be sleeping and you have churches disturbing all over the place.
Yeah, that will be another conversation.
Yeah, that will be another conversation.
But a question came to mind concerning Auntie Mary, about her husband and all of that. Because it's quite confusing because it looks like she's not really comfortable that this is what the man is doing. And it took me back to what's in the Bible about David and his wife, one of his wives, and then he was dancing all out in public, and the woman was really not comfortable that a king, such a caliber of person is doing this, and God closed her womb. That will Auntie Mary or any other person who finds herself in a situation like that, not supporting a man of God, really have any punishment from God?
That's what I tell you is an area I think we need more time to be treated, and sometimes on it's difficult to attempt to address this issue. This is a pure family issue. Let's leave it and just advise that everybody must work, because the Bible even says we must work. And we define career to lead to financial independence. That is putting food on your table. So if your career is not putting food on your table, which is a basic necessity for your family, then you must do something about it. You can do other things to add to that. Nobody say don't pray. Nobody say spirit. I told you here that life is spiritual, and you must really connect to the divine powers that controls your life. You can do everything. You can get every money in this world. 1 minute spirit can clear it out. So you need to be strong spiritually to be able to stand firm with whatever you think is your career you are developing. This is how I will be building it up. Whatever you are doing as a career, whether secular, whether spiritual, or whatever, you must have a strong spiritual backing. Depending on your belief system, which I have recommended Christianity because this is what I practice, and it works for me.
Well, do I have to be picky with my career choices? Do I need to consider the kind of faith that my manager or owner of the business that I'm working under is into? If we do not share the same faith, maybe I'm Christian and then he is a Buddhist or something, we do not share the same faith, do I stay in my lane or I really need to quit?
If I, like you said, I try to define religion as your belief system, not somebody else's belief system. So your life is your life. Your work is work. Work and life, they are two different things, and life is more important than work. Are you getting it? Because if you lose that work and you have life, you can still get another work that can give you more better life. So please, your belief system should be based on what you believe, not what your boss believes.
Okay.
But if you know his belief system is contradicting your belief system, you can leave that job and build your system to get a better job.
That's great, because sometimes we are forced to get involved with what they do. You know, sometimes they have rituals they perform in the morning and all that. But Reverend, final question. I just want us to move into the gospel music fraternity. You know, we have gospel music here, and talking about PAC Esther. She recently won Gospel Artist of the Year at the end of VGMA, and we had another gospel minister come in saying that they should focus on winning souls to Christ other than them taking the awards.
What would you say?
What would you say about that, Eddie?
Okay, what I would say is the issue of gospel music is also a big thing to look at. Everything gospel, the bottom line, we call something the Great Commission. The gospel has a great commission, that is to win souls to Christ. So anything you are doing in gospel, if it is not addressing that great commission, then you need to look at it very, very well. Awarding or appreciating people, good job, people's performance, there is nothing wrong about that. You get it? Awarding somebody who has done a good job, there is nothing, I don't have any reservation to say that there's anything wrong about that. But the person doing the thing, the main objective of whatever you do must address the object or the mission statement, I will call it from strategic point of what you are doing. The reason why you are doing the thing must be seen. So winning soul is the demand on every gospel musician, not just to make the money or get the award, but your songs, are they really having impact on lives? Are they bringing people to Christ? What is the objective of that? So you can see people who you include who say they are not Christian, singing words, mention Jesus or church or something that you call it gospel music. I don't know whether that is gospel music or whatever. And I'm not judging by persons because I can't see you now and say you are Christian or you are not. I cannot do that. You get it? So you, the one doing it, should know what I am doing. Is it addressing the mission or the purpose of the profession I've carried?
Right. Thank you very much. I think right about now we'll end our conversation. But before we take leave of you, you have a project coming up. And can you share that with us?
Okay, sure. Like we are discussing, this is a good platform to really talk about the program that is coming on from 21st to 28th of this month. In my church, we have a conference. It's a yearly conference called Vision Conference. It is to address the reality of the things we are discussing here, because we believe that everybody have a mission and our talents are the only thing that God is going to use to judge you. Do you understand? Our going to heaven, it is not your making. It is your belief in Jesus that is taking you to heaven. But when they say the judgment seat of God, it is how you use your talent. Like in Matthew 25, when we talk about that three servants that God gave, or the master gave talents to all of them. The last one who received one, you see the punishment he got. And the first two, as they put their talents into work, the Bible says they all got 100% returns. We are teaching about how people identify their talents, how people must know their purpose in life. And in fact, this year, the topic we are treating is unemployment. Employment and deployment. Why are people saying they are unemployed? What do you do to be employable? We are going to discuss these things in detail professionally.
Yes, sir.
Professionally and in line with Bible, so that I'm inviting young people especially who are now starting or going to start life. This thing you call unemployment is just an economic terms that somebody is using in order to exploit or control people. So please come between these dates I mentioned, 28 to 21st to 28th, you will hear something that will change your life for good.
Okay, the venue, please.
The venue is Life Ahead Vision Ministry. In fact, when you are just branch from the Temamoto way towards Akosombo Road, before Ashama Timber Market, there's a footbridge, a very big footbridge. Just look on your right. It's an old filling station, Vision House. It's boldly written on a quite very nice auditorium there.
And time for each of the sessions?
The time is for the detailed discussion. It starts from Friday. Friday we'll do morning and afternoon session. Morning and evening sessions. And Saturday same, and Sunday we'll do evening session just to address this. I think I'll have opportunity to talk more about this before the program starts.
Okay, definitely. We hope to have you soon before the event starts so that you can elaborate more on that. So from the 21st to the 28th of May this year, definitely you need to be at Life Ahead Vision Ministry around Tema, the Ashaman Timber Market, closer to the filling station over there, and learn about employment, unemployment, and then deployment as well. Thank you so much, viewers, for staying with us throughout the conversation. Thank you as well, Reverend, for joining us, making time and joining us. He is Reverend David Kofi Wuaku, the founder of Life Ahead Vision Ministries. Right about now, we'll take a quick detour, and then when we return, Flozzy will be on with us on HSTV. We'll be right back.